With the 15th pick and with the 26th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Dwayne Haskins, Montez Sweat.
Welcome, all my fellow Redskin brethren and sistren. I am your man and president, Redskins fan, Lou. Thank you for joining me here on the Redskins Report. Dressed in all black like the Omen. You know what that means. One or two things. And we didn't play a game this week, last week, or the month before that. So this has nothing to do with on the field production. So, you know, it's something else going on with the burgundy and gold, but it's something that we already knew. And I'm dressed in all black like the Omen because this saddens me, because I was hoping we could get past this. I was hoping he would be on the roster this year and that somehow miraculously he would play well, stay healthy, fences would be mended, and he'd be back here long term. I was naive. As a fan, I wanted it to work out because I like him. I like Quinton Dunbar. I love Dunny, you know, and he's one of ours. We switched him from wide receiver to defensive back. We groomed him up. We shinied up this guy and made him a quality football player in this league, one that's going to get paid either here, but more than likely somewhere else. And it's unfortunate because in these situations, it always seems like those guys end up getting paid elsewhere. And we seem to do all of the tough legwork and the groundwork to get that player in a position to earn, and then we let them go do it elsewhere. It's frustrating, but it's a part of the business. The guys that helped Dunny get to the point where he is now aren't here. And the lack of communication between both parties involved has made this situation really untenable for all parties involved. A lot of the damage being done on Dunny's end, though, but it's nor here nor there. I've said this since the start of this whole Quinton Dunbar situation that, look, he's being grossly underpaid. And I understand the whole concept of you sign the contract, honor the contract. But the players look at it like this. Owners and teams have the ability to get out of an NFL contract really whenever they want to. So why can't players demand more money when they feel like they've outperformed their contract that they may have signed 2-3 years prior? That's the case for Quinton Dunbar. Again, the Redskins and Bruce Allen threw a contract in front of this man. And look, he had every right to sign it at the time. He had not made any real money in this league. When you're undrafted and you scratch and claw your way onto an NFL roster and you have created a situation where you're a mainstay and now you're looking to get paid, you're looking to get off of the thousands of dollars and looking to make millions of dollars, and they put a deal in front of you that's going to allow you to make millions of dollars, you sign that deal. I don't blame Dunbar for signing that. But he's outperformed the contract that he signed some 2-3 years ago. Now he's in the final year of that deal. There is no guaranteed money. And when it does become guaranteed, it's only a little bit over $3 million. He is a starting corner in this league. Starting corners get paid anywhere. As you can see, this offseason, guys were getting $16.5 million. And I'm not saying that's what Quinton Dunbar deserves to be paid, but corners that start in this league are getting paid anywhere from $7 to $16.5 million. He is $4 million shy of even hitting the bottom tier starting cornerback salary. So he is grossly underpaid. Everyone can understand that concept. You can understand why he is upset. You can understand from Ron Rivera's perspective why he's saying, hey, look, I hear your gripe. I understand where you're coming from, but we're not looking to do anything with your contract at this time. Now you come in, you perform, you play well, and we will talk then, because Quinton Dunbar has been banged up. Now, he took to Twitter to defend himself and say, look, I'm 100% healthy now, and I've been pretty much healthy throughout my career. I had that 1 year where I missed a bunch of games, but I've been relatively healthy. That's debatable, okay? He sees it one way, the organization sees it another. At the end of the day, this situation has gotten messy. A lot of it because of Quinton Dunbar's handling of this situation. I'm never going to tell a grown man how to go about getting his money. Okay, that's never going to be my stance. All right. Me, you, and another guy could all handle the same situation totally different. All right. You might end up being really quiet and saying, hey, go to the team. I'm going to show up for everything. Can we get something done here? And go about it very cordially. The next man may say, you know what? I'm going to let the team know I'm disappointed, but I'm going to show up. And anybody that sticks a mic in my face, I'm going to let them know that I'm disappointed, but I'm going to show up and I'm going to be a team player. But I'm going to let them know that I want something done. And then I might show up and do what Dunny did and say, I'm not coming to a damn thing. I'm going on social media and I'm attacking the organization. I'm telling them I want to trade. Anybody that comes to me for a quote, I'm going to give them everything they're looking for and then some. And I'm going to make sure that they know I'm not happy. And unless they want to give me a new deal and new money that I feel like I rightfully deserve, there's going to be a problem and they need to trade me because I'm not going to show up and I'm going to make this a thing. So you got three different people, three different ways to handle the same situation. I'm never going to tell a man how to go about getting your bread. If you feel like you need to raise Cain to get your bread, so be it. All right, a wise man once told me, the strong move silent, the weak start riots. Look, he may have felt like he was weak and vulnerable in a position where if he didn't speak up, something was going to happen that wasn't advantageous for the Quinton Dunbar brand. Whatever the case may be, I don't have any issues with Quinton Dunbar. Some of you may not like the way he's handled this situation. Sure, I would have appreciated it, and I think things might have went a little bit smoother had he just come into Ron Rivera and said, look, I understand that you're just getting here and that you got a lot of things on your plate, and I hate to add another item to your menu, so to speak. But look, I've been a guy that's given everything to this organization. I've been a team player. I've played injured. I've been misdiagnosed by the old training staff. I played when I shouldn't have played. It's made my situation probably a little worse because I've missed games that I might have been able to play had I just healed up fully. One way or another, I put some bad tape out there at times because I played injured. I sacrificed for this team. And so all I'm asking is that some way, somehow, you guys are able to help me get this new deal before the season starts. And had they said no, then he could have asked for a trade. He could have kept everything quiet. I wish he could have went about it another way, similar to that. But he didn't. He made his issue publicly known. He's voiced this numerous times to the point now where it's kind of forced Ron Rivera's hand because he's already said, he's already on record as saying, I want guys that want to be here. And if you don't want to be here, we're going to get you out of here. And so Quinton Dunbar is following in the footsteps of Trent Williams, essentially, where he's pretty much trying to bully his way out of town. And if that's the case, get what you can for him. Now, Quinton Dunbar isn't in the driver's seat in this situation. He can bellyache all he wants, boo-hoo, and say anything that he wants. And frankly, he can show up to whatever he doesn't want to show up to or show up if he wants to. It's up to him. He can not show up or he can show up. Right now, there aren't going to be any OTAs, so can't threaten to sit those out. Right now, not going to be any mini camps. Can't threaten to sit those out. And right now, it doesn't look like there's going to be training camp. All right. And look, we're a ways away from there. And I've said this already. The NFL doesn't have any tough decisions to make until they get to July. That's when they're going to have to start figuring out, can we move on with the season as planned, or are we going to have to push some of these items back? Like training camp, which to me is a necessity. You have to have some type of training camp to make sure guys are in shape, to figure out who belongs on the roster and who doesn't, and to get everybody on one accord, get everybody on the same page, actually start running practices. So you've got to have some kind of camp. It may be abbreviated. It may not be as long as it normally is, but you got to have something. And that's where they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do. And that's when the Redskins would have an issue with Dunny at that point. But they're trying to nip this thing in the bud by giving him the opportunity to seek a trade, similar to what they did for Trent a week ago. They're doing the same thing for Dunny. They've given him permission to seek a trade. He was on social media, and this is when I knew this thing was past the point of no return. Look, the Redskins could have given him permission to seek a trade, and I still would have thought maybe he'll be here. I was hoping this thing was resolved. He was out recruiting guys on socials just 3 weeks ago, trying to get guys to come to Washington. I thought that there was a different way to look at it. You could have looked at it from the standpoint of when he was telling James Bradbury he'd love him to come play here. I was personally looking at it from him saying the same thing that Slay did in Detroit when they signed Desmond Trufant, when he said, good, hopefully that speeds up my process of getting out of here. And he got traded the very next day. I thought Quinton Dunbar was saying, yeah, you come here so you can take my spot so they can let me go somewhere else and get paid. Now, some people were looking at it as if he was recruiting a guy to come here to play alongside him. I never quite got that feel, but that's nor here nor there. He was on socials and somebody was, asking him about was he going to play this year for the Redskins. And he pretty much said, look, the trust factor is all gone. I don't trust anybody in the building and I want out. It's pretty much done. And so at that point, I said to myself, I think Quinton Dunbar's pretty much dug his grave. And now he's going to have to lay in it, whatever happens. And so he's at the mercy of the Redskins. But Rivera, I don't think, wants anybody here that doesn't want to be here. And nor should he. And I've said this all along. I'm not mad at Dunny. Get your bread, man. And whether that's here or somewhere else, do what you feel like you need to do to get paid. And so he's done everything. He's put himself in a position now where he's been allowed to hit the trading block. Now let's see if he gets any offers for the Redskins that they deem a good compensation for him, and they move him. Now, obviously, whatever team decides they want to move on Quinton Dunbar is going to have to pay him, similar to the Trent Williams situation, which is why I think there hasn't been a deal struck there, is because you got two different criteria that have to be met in order to make a successful trade here. One, the team has to be able to give the Redskins proper compensation for the player that they're going to be trading in question, in this particular situation, Quinton Dunbar. And two, you've got to be able to reach a long-term agreement with that player. They've got to feel like they're going to be able to accept the contract that you're offering them. So there's two different items here that have to be met. Same thing with Trent, and we'll see if it gets done here in the near future or not. And similar to the Trent situation, I think it needs to be resolved prior to the draft, because I think the Redskins want draft compensation. If they do not receive draft compensation that helps them in the 2020 NFL draft, then I think they're just going to go along with that player as if they're going to play for them for the upcoming season. Similar to Trent Williams. If they don't get draft compensation for Trent Williams heading into the 2020 draft, I don't think they're going to move him, and they're not going to release either of these players. I don't see that being the end. I don't see that being the end game for either one of these situations, is that they ultimately release guys that are on favorable deals for the Redskins. Trent Williams is on a $12.5 million deal, and Quinton Dunbar's on a deal that's going to pay him a little bit over $3 million. There's no way the Redskins are going to part ways with either one of these players. Either they can play here or not play here and not get paid. But if there's not a trade in the works for either one of these players, I don't anticipate the Redskins just saying, okay, we're going to cut you loose. You go do what you want to do. There's going to be some kind of compensation in either of these situations with Trent or with Quinton Dunbar. You want to get paid, you got to play and play at a high level. So it's not like if they're here, they're not going to go out and bust their ass trying to play hard, because they got to go and try to play themselves into another big deal next year. So again, if they find deals elsewhere that satisfy the Redskins' needs and they get paid, good for either one of these guys. But in the case of Quinton Dunbar, I hope he gets paid somewhere. I hope the Redskins get good compensation for him, and I hope he's allowed to move on. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, though, if Quinton Dunbar is moved, the Redskins' cornerback situation goes from desperate to extremely desperate. All right? You go from thin to bulimic. All right? Anorexic. So I feel like there's something that has to be done here that allows the Redskins, and similar to Trent Williams, if I'm the Redskins, I don't think I take anything less than a third-round pick for Quinton Dunbar. I really think you can fetch a third, especially with how much it's going to cost him to get a new deal. You're not going to have to break the bank to pay Quinton Dunbar, which is why I wanted the Redskins to pay him here. You don't have to. I think you could get a deal done with Quinton Dunbar for $8 or $9 million per year, and that's why he's great. He's griping right now, and I think he has a legitimate gripe. Because I don't think it's going to cost you $12, $13, $14 million to re-sign Quinton Dunbar. I think a 4-year, $32 million deal with 21 of it guaranteed would get the deal done with Quinton Dunbar. That's not going to kill you. But if that's not what you are looking to do, then by all means, do what you feel like you need to do. So The Redskins have a decision to make here. Teams, I think, will be interested in Quinton Dunbar. To what extent is the real question. What are the Redskins looking for in return? I think is the bigger question, because a team might call the Redskins and say, hey, we'll offer you a fourth, and it's a back end of the fourth round pick. And the Redskins may say, we was thinking more along the lines of a third. And that team might say, and the Redskins will be like, hello? Hello? Oh, shit, they hung up. Yeah. So it all depends. We'll see what happens. I'm sad. And I said that this was going to happen. When it first broke, if you go back to the very first Quinton Dunbar video, I said, this isn't going to end well. At the very end of that video, I said, this isn't going to end well for us as Redskins fans. He's not going to end up being here because these situations never end well for the Redskins. But nonetheless, at this point, like I said with Trent, I'm ready to move on. If he doesn't want to be here, all right, find some compensation for him, get him out of here, and let's proceed and move forward. So I am a Redskins fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskins spirit will never die. Redskins spirit will never fold until we meet again. Hail to our beloved Washington Redskins. What do you guys think about this situation? I'm pretty sure most of you are ready for this, much like the Trent situation, to be done with. I know my man Derek B said that the Redskins will do nothing. Dunny will report and he will play. It's looking less and less likely like that is going to take place. We'll see. And I remember telling Derek B that I didn't think that was going to happen. And then I doubled back and said, maybe you're right, Derek B. And it looked like for a while there that all was well and that he was just going to shut up and come up and play. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. Looks like the Redskins are going to move him, and he's been very active on socials. When the Redskins gave him permission to seek a trade, and that was put out by Pro Football Talk, he then retweeted that post with a comment saying, happy for a new beginning or something to that effect. So he wants out. Give the man what he wants. As long as the Redskins get proper compensation in return, I'm all for it. If you can't get what you're looking for, then he's not going to be happy with the decision made by the Redskins. I support it. Don't just give this man away. Don't cut ties with him for nothing. Make sure you get what you feel like you deserve in return for Quinton Dunbar, and that doubles for Trent Williams as well. Leave it down in the comment section. What do you think about this situation? We've talked about it numerous times, but a new wrinkle has been thrown in. He's been given permission to seek a trade. What do you think the Redskins should do with this situation? And what should they get in return for Quinton Dunbar is probably the bigger question from you guys that I'm looking for in the comment section. Look forward to hearing from you guys and reading all of your comments. Like this video, subscribe to the Louie T Network if you haven't already done so. And we'll chop it up down the road. If anything breaks with this situation, the Trent Williams situation, or anything else of note, you know that I have got you covered. And look forward to a Redskins video live this week, a Redskins Report live on Wednesday night. Look forward to doing that with you guys as well. So until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.
Louie T Network.